Rounds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to go back just a little bit where Mr. Porch has identified the fact that while TRID was being implemented, it was causing some challenges. The new TILA-RESPA Integrated Disclosure Rule, or TRID, was an attempt by CFPB to simplify mortgage disclosures. While it is a long overdue step to make disclosures easier for consumers, I'm concerned that the new rules are making it harder for banks to make loans to consumers. Mr. Porch, could you just share with us a little bit about what you were talking about in terms of what TRID has done in terms of your capability to even use bare ag land in some cases to make a loan? Could you share a little bit about how that's working?
Previously, we could use bare ag land without any buildings, and we, as far as the purpose, we didn't really care, and if that purpose was for the construction of a home, that was totally fine. We had to meet all the disclosures in terms of truth in lending, et cetera, but now with TRID, we have to meet all the HMDA reporting requirements and everything, and frankly, we don't do enough of that line of business that we're terribly fearful of making a mistake. And you've heard some of the other witnesses this morning talk about mistakes, and that has us very uneasy about that kind of a thing. And so we have 7 loan officers in our bank, including the president. The other day we had a conversation about whether we even wanted to venture into that arena, and we said 2 of the guys maybe will undertake that issue, but for the majority of us, it's very difficult to be trained. It's very difficult to understand the program, and so we just virtually are almost out of that market.
Thank you. Just as a follow-up in terms of the need to look at the appraisal situation, Senator Thune and I had been working trying to figure out why we were having such a tough time getting appraisers, and through our questions from the Appraisal Foundation, and this is the industry's regulator, it appears that they're making it harder for prospective appraisers to actually enter the profession, and that there had been a 19% decline in the total number of appraisers from 2007 to 2014. And when we start talking about on a day-to-day basis, one of the other banks in western South Dakota, and there aren't that many of them, but one of them, and I'll submit this for the record, Mr. Chairman, the note coming back in just yesterday was from one of the loan officers saying, this is to her boss, I just wanted to let you know an interesting situation I just had ordering an appraisal the other day. I received one order for an FHA home purchase in Eagle Butte, South Dakota. The appraiser I could get to go there was charging $1,500, and it was going to take a month before she could get us the report. On that same date, I received another order for a home purchase with Flagstar in the Villages, Florida. The appraiser I engaged in that appraisal was going to charge $350, would have it done in 10 days. Isn't the difference amazing? Eagle Butte is on the reservation in western South Dakota. We've got challenges in rural areas in terms of getting appraisers set up, and I think we ought to be making it a little bit easier for these guys to get in and be involved with it. And most certainly, I think your testimony here has identified the need in the Phillip area as well. If I could, I'd like to ask one question of the group, if you could. One of the biggest challenges we think that we have is trying to cut some of the red tape that's out there. The federal government is issuing on an average of 3,500 more rules every single year. We've got over 1 million federal regulations in the books today. Total cost of the regulatory burden to the American public is about $1.9 trillion per year, compared with about $1.4 trillion in personal income taxes. So it's a big deal. If there was one single regulation out there that we could look at eliminating that would help you provide service to your customers, can you tell us what it would be today? Is there a single regulation which stands out, maybe 2 that stand out, that you would like to see us try to address?
Well, I certainly don't mean to dominate the conversation this morning, and finding one would be terribly difficult. In my written testimony, we talk about the inability or the lack of knowledge for our examiners to understand the difference between commercial business and farm and ranch lending. And if there's one message that I could leave with the committee today, it would be to understand that, perhaps give some directives to examiners and go forward from there. That really affects us.
I'm not sure I could pick just one. But I will think about that, and I will get something to you.
Thank you.
I would concur. It'd be hard to pick one.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Warren.